Hi, my name's Kat. Thank you for joining me today for this full body strength workout. You will need some dumbbells today, so just grab whatever you've got. Everyone's strength is different, but mine are 4 and 6 kg that I'll be using. I will also be using a bench, however, you don't need one. You can just use the floor or a chair and that's perfectly fine. So as always, listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, just modify, rest as much as you need. We're going to be doing 8 exercises, 3 times round, 10 reps of each. Let's get started. We'll start with a quick warm up. So side on, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do articulation through the spine to roll down and roll up. So a little bend in the knees, hip distance apart. Bring your chin towards your chest, rounding into the shoulders, rolling down one vertebrae at a time until you feel that stretch into the back of the legs. And then push your feet into the earth. Tuck your tailbone under, so we're rounding through that lower back. Roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders come back and down, lifting up the chin. Let's do that again. Softening into the knees, around the shoulders, rolling down. And push your feet through the floor, tuck that tailbone, and rolling back up. Let's do one more. Awesome. And we'll come into some squats just to warm up the legs, feet hip distance apart. Go down and up. Really plant your feet nice and strong into the ground, hinging at the hips. Up to you how deep you want to go. Just preparing the legs. Let's do 10 more. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Step a little wider. Let's just twist. Get some rotation into the body. I'm going to step a little wider and get lateral movement. We come down into a squat, so we've got that activation in the legs. Let's go elbow to knee and up. Working into the core. And obviously the legs. Let's do 3 more. Both sides. I've lost count. Let's do 1 more. Awesome, and straighten. I'm going to keep this wide stance. Come back down, and then just do a little lean side to side. There, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Come in. Now arm circles. So nice and tall. Bring the arms all the way up. Turn the palms back and try and make the movement as large as you can. Inhale up. Palms back. Exhale around. Trying to get to your end range of motion. You want it to be nice and active. One more. And then go back the other way. So inhale behind and exhale forward. So try not to stick your ribs out when your arms go behind. You want to get as much range of motion as you can without compensating in the spine. Last one. Awesome. Our first exercise is going to be an Arnold press. So I'm going to use my lighter dumbbells, the 4 kg for this one, which is still going to be quite heavy. So I'm going to do it seated, but you could do it standing. If you do it standing, just make sure your body's not swaying forward and back. So a little bend in the knees and really grounding down through the feet. Nice tall posture. So rolling the shoulders back and down, bracing through the core just a little bit to keep your torso still. I'm going to bring the arms up into a cactus position. So bring the arms in, open, and then push overhead. We go in and exhale, push. So trying to keep your body as still as possible. When the arms come in front of your body, you'll need to brace into the core just a little bit more. Keep your elbows in line with the shoulders if you can. You can drop them down a little bit if you need. I'm not counting. I think this is 4. And make sure you're not rounding through the shoulders when the arms come forward. Let's do 4 more. Ooh, starting to feel that now. Last 2. Last one. Oh my goodness. All right, now we're going to come and lay down on your back. If you don't have a bench, you can lay on the floor. So lots of different options with this one. You're going to have your lower back pushing down into the floor or the bench. Bring your legs up into a straight-legged position. Now, if you're on the floor, you can tuck your hands under your lower back if you want to give yourself a little bit more support, or you can just have your arms down by your side. Now, if you're on the bench, you might want to hold the top of the bench. Now, keeping your core wrapped in, you're going to lower one leg and then bring it back up to the sky. So this is option 1. Now, we don't want any arching in the lower back. If you've got lots of clicking going on in your hips, then do bent version and keep the legs a little bit closer to the body. Okay, if you want more load, which I'm going to be doing, is straight, both legs, sorry. And then I'm going to add a little reverse crunch. So you can do this on the floor as well. You're just not going to have the extra help at the top, so you'll have to push down into your hands. So even if you only get a little centimeter off the floor, that's okay. So if you're doing your single legs, just stay with single leg. If you're doing your doubles, that's where you'll add in that reverse crunch. Now, if you are managing to get more than a centimeter off the floor, I want you to focus on articulating through the spine. So you roll up and then roll down one vertebrae at a time. Make sure your lower back doesn't lift. I think we've got 5 more. Hard to talk while I'm trying to engage my core. Let's do 2 more. Awesome. If you're doing single leg, do a few more. And then we'll be moving into a chest fly. So with the chest fly, I'm going to go slightly heavier with my 6 kg. You can still do this with the same weight that you used before though, and it's still going to be very effective. So So either on the floor or on the bench. If you're on the bench, you may feel more comfortable having your feet up. It's up to you, but my legs are a little short, so I can't reach the ground. So I'm going to have them on the legs of the bench. Now, arms come up in line with your chest. I'm going to have a little bend in your elbows, so slightly rounded. Your chest fly. So we open, and then on your exhale, pull everything back into your midline. So inhale as you open, exhale to bring it back in. Good. So you're feeling this as you come back in. So 4 more reps. The further you open your arms, the harder it's going to be to come back in. Last one. Excellent. Our next one is going to be a skull crusher. So we're targeting our triceps. You can stay with the heavier one if you like, but I'm going to go a little bit lighter. You can either hold one dumbbell like this, but I'm going to do 2 long ways instead, because I feel like the grip feels a little bit better for me, but that's depending on what kind of dumbbells you have. All right. So you want your elbows to stay in the same spot and just your fists come down towards your forehead, which is why it's called skull crusher, and lift it back up. So you definitely don't want to drop it on your face, which is why I've gone a little bit lighter, because when you get hot and sweaty, you run that risk. So really controlled. You inhale when it's coming down, because that's the easy part. Exhale to push it up against gravity. And keeping the arms in line and not letting them wobble out or in. All controlled. I think we've got 3 more. But obviously if you're going at your own speed, if you do less reps, that's fine. If you do more, that's fine. Just make sure you're focusing on really good form. All right, and I'm going to finish that. All right. Now, I'm going to move this to the side now. For single leg squat. Now, if you've never done single leg squats before, and squats on its own is really challenging, then just stay with your squats. So if you have a chair, if you don't have a bench, you can use a chair. If you don't have anything, you can still do this without. I'm just going to use that as a target. So if you're doing normal squats, it's sit to stand. So you're hinging into the hips like you're about to sit down. Don't put your weight on it, and then come straight back up. Now when you come back up, you want to squeeze into the glutes, but you don't want to thrust, okay? So here's one option, and if you're doing that option, really ground down into the feet, slightly pull your legs apart, not to the point where your knees go out, but just enough to really activate all the muscles coming up into your glutes, not just your thighs. So it will help your knees as well. So with the single leg, it's exactly the same form, but it's going to be a little bit harder. So we're going to have the leg in front. Try and keep the leg that's raised side, your hips slightly up. You don't want to collapse into this hip, okay? You want to keep this one slightly up. And then hinging at the hips, I'm just trying to get the right distance here. Sticking your bum down and then coming straight back up. So you're tapping, but not putting your weight into the chair. I like to use my arms. It helps as a counterbalance, but you can do what you want with your arms. So I inhale as I go down, and I exhale to bring myself back up. So you exhale at the hardest part of the exercise. So making sure that that working side isn't sticking out. You want to keep it in line, knee ankle, hip in line. I think we've got 2 more. Hard to keep counting when I'm talking. All right. So with the knee going over the toes, it's okay if it goes a little bit, but you don't want it to be like full over to begin with. There's nothing wrong with that mobility, but when you're new to an exercise, it's safer for the joints to keep it in line. All right, now the other side's my funky leg, so I'm going to be a little bit more wobbly. All right, so hips aligned, hinge, and come back up. Really concentrate on this side. Got one more. Ooh. All right. Now, for our renegade row, which is a plank, so it's a core exercise, but it's very shoulder based because you're supporting yourself. I'm going to be doing a single arm row. So the 4 may be a little heavy, especially if you're starting out. You might want a 1 or a 2. Let's see how you go if that's all you've got. So I'm going to come into a wide base for my feet. Hands under the shoulder or slightly out. Bracing into your core. You want to try not to twist the hips, okay? And then pull your elbow in close to the body. Try not to lean too much. You'll lean a little bit though. There's also the option, if you do have a bench, to do this on the bench, which is going to be a little bit more comfortable. So elbow close to the body, pulling your shoulder blade in towards the spine, core on. I've lost count again. Let's do 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Definitely feels more comfortable on the bench. You can do this on a chair, just make sure it's not going to slide anywhere. Three more. Awesome work. All right, I'm going to come into some lunges now. Actually, I will keep I'm going to go up a weight to the 6, but I just need 1. So we'll hold it long ways. We'll come into a lunge position, split stance. So you want your hips to be aligned and facing forward, up onto the toes of the back foot. If you've got your foot down, it twists the hips and you're not going to be able to move properly. So knee, once again, knee roughly in line with ankle. It's okay if it goes over the toes a little bit, but to begin with, start nice and tall. Shoulders back and down. We're going to add a twist. I'm going to go into my lunge, twist without twisting the hips. So we're only twisting from the rib cage up, center, and then release your lunge. Down, twist, center, come up. Making sure that your back knee does not twist with you, and your hips don't twist with you. So we're using our obliques for the twist. Up to you how deep you go into your lunge as well. We've got 2 more. Awesome. Swapping sides. So make sure you're not on a tight rope. So you don't want your feet to be in line with one another. You want them to be hip distance. All right. Got 4 more to go. Last one. Ooh. All right, last exercise of this round 1. So I'm going to lay down. You may, if you've got a chair, you're going to put it up against something so it doesn't move. My bench should hopefully be okay where it is. All right. You're going to do some bridges with your legs elevated. If you don't want to use a chair or a bench, just keep your feet flat on the floor. The feet hip distance apart, and either, depending on the surface you're using, heels on or the middle of the foot. Okay, we're going to peel the hips up 1 vertebrae at a time. At the top, really tuck that tailbone under. That will really spice up those hamstrings. They may seize to begin with if you're not used to it, and then roll back down. Ooh, I definitely felt that. Have your arms down by your side, or if you feel lots of tension in your neck, have your arms up. So that little tuck at the top, and then come back down. You don't want to over arch. We're not stretching, we're trying to strengthen. So what I mean by that is we're not trying to get this arch into the lower back. I'm going to tuck and come back down. Hard to see when my top's loose. So it's moving a little bit. I'm just having my hands up here so you can see a little bit better. Three more. Last one. Excellent. All right, have a quick drink and then we'll do round 2. All right, ready for round 2. Starting with our Arnold press. So we'll go a little bit faster now because you've gone through all the cues. Okay, arms up, core nice and stable. We go in and up. Four more. Maybe to go at your own speed. Last one. Oh my goodness. Alright, and we have our leg lowers and reverse crunch. So either lying on the floor or the bench. Remember your options, you've got toe taps, single leg lowers, or the double leg. So pushing your lower back into the ground and rolling through the spine. I've got 2 more. Ooh. Alright, now going to our chest fly. I'll go to my heavy weights. Slight bend in the elbows. Open. Exhale to bring it in. Two more. Awesome. Always bring your weights in before you come up. Alright, now we've got our skull crusher. Make sure your hands are dry. So elbows stay in the same spot, nice and aligned with your shoulders, bending and coming back up. I'm just going to adjust where my hands are. There we go. Trying to keep them like railroad tracks as much as you can. Utilize your breath. I think I've got 3 more. Good. Alright, shifting the bench. We've got our squats. So either double leg or single leg. Remember not to collapse into the working side. Keep it aligned. Alright. Hinge and up. Let's try that again. There we go. Alright, if you need to tap down in between each one, you don't have to balance the whole time. Just reset, focus on your form. As you get tired, you will wobble a little bit more because the muscles are fatiguing. Alright, I'm swapping legs. A little bit far away. Alright, I've got one more. Alright, Renegade Row. I think I'm going to keep it on the bench because it felt nicer for me, but if you're coming onto the floor, that's the option as well. Alright, so feet wide. Try not to lean or twist. Shoulder over wrist. Elbow close to the body on the working side. Make sure your bum's not up here or like that, okay? Two more. Awesome. For our lunge twists, I'm going slightly heavier, but just using the one dumbbell. Let me catch my breath for a second. All right. So lining up your stance. Tall posture. We come down, twist, center, and up. Down, twist, center, and up. Keeping those hips facing forward. Three more. Last one. Oof. Other side. Sit down, twist, center, and up. Last one. Awesome. Last exercise for round 2 is our bridges. So you don't want your bum to be too far back and knees too far forward in your starting position, but you also don't want to be too far away either. So just a little hinge. Ideally knees in line with hips, but it really depends on how that feels for your individual body. So just have a play. All right. So tucking at the top. I'll tuck this in. There we go. So doing that little pelvic tilt at the top. Feet hip distance apart. Controlling the spine, not arching. By the way, if you do want to level this up, do single leg. Same form though, with the tuck, the hip alignment. I think I've got 2 more. Wowzers, that's a good one. So pause the video, have a drink if you need. We've just got 1 more round to go. All right, last round. So starting with our Arnold press. Nice and tall. All right, we go in, exhale, push over. I think I've got 3. Just remember the reps. If you don't do full of 10, it's okay. Last one. Ooh. The main thing is that you're doing it with correct form. So if you need to take breaks or really slow it down, it's totally fine. When you're going heavier, the general rule is less reps. The lighter you go, the more reps you can do. We've got our core exercise. Your leg lowers, either your single leg lowers or your double. Optional with the little reverse crunch, even if it's a little hop, that's fine. So as long as your lower back stays connected when your legs are lowering. Two more. Ooh. Chest fly. Alright, so really grounding down through the shoulders, little bend in the elbows. Inhale to open, exhale to bring it in. Two more. Ooh. Straight into our skull crushes. So I'm not doing a lot of rest, so if you need to take rest, absolutely do so. Just pause video. Alright. Grounding down through the shoulder blades, and into the elbows. 2 more. Alright, move my bench so you can see me better for our squats. Alright, line the hips, hinge, and up. So you want to feel glute and thigh. You'll feel your hamstring a bit as well. Great for balance and coordination. And swap. Lovely side. Whoops, cheated a little bit with that one. Last one. Renegade row. So make sure if you are using a seat or a bench that it's not going to shift, okay? Feet wide. A nice plank, core on. Strong shoulder, you don't want to collapse into that supporting shoulder. The last one. Other side. The last one. Oh my goodness, shaking with that one. Right, we're almost there. 2 more to go. Got our lunges and our bridge. Down, twist, center, and up. Last one. All right, let's swap. Last 2. Awesome work. On to our last one. Into our bridges. Definitely getting tired now. It's good. Good workout. Alright. Finding your alignment, your hand position, whether it's down to this side or up. Alright. That little pelvic tilt at the top is the most important part. Last 2. Well done. Have a drink and then we'll do a quick stretch and then we'll be finished. Alright, when you're ready, let's do a stretch. We'll come into our quads first. If you need to hold on to something, feel free to. And pull your heel up towards your bum. If you want to get a little bit more out of it, tuck that. Do that little pelvic tilt where you bring your pubic bone forward. And that will intensify the stretch a little bit more. I hope you're feeling really strong and worked out. Let's go over to the other side. I'm definitely feeling like I need to jump in the pool now because it is hot. Awesome. Now I'm going to sit down for my arm stretches. You can stay standing or sit on your seat if you wish to. I'm going to bring that arm across, pull it in. So you want to feel this stretch into your deltoid muscle here, and then turn your head away from your arm. And then bring it up and over. And other side, pull it across, and then in. So I'm going to hit the microphone here. And then up and over. And interlace the hands behind. Make a fist. Pull them away and squeeze your shoulder blades together as much as you can. We'll come into a nice side stretch. Try and keep both sit bones on the ground, so if you're higher, that's okay. Other side. You can also do this standing if you're still standing. Have a wide-legged base though, it'll feel better. Alright. Bring one foot up onto your thigh. You can lay down for this one if you prefer. And push your chest in towards your leg as much as you can. If you're on your back, then pull your leg towards you. You can also do this standing. If you're still standing, you'll just have to balance. Bring one foot up onto your thigh and then squat down. Good, other side. And then for your twist, you can either sit on your chair and bring opposite hand to leg, or on the ground, or you can lay on your back and pull one leg over into a twist. Other side. If you're still standing, you can put one leg up onto your chair for a hamstring stretch. Otherwise, try and hinge the hips forward so you're sitting on the inside of your sit bones and fold forward. Other side. And then the last stretch for your chest, and either, I prefer it on the ground, but if you are standing, you can have your forearm against the edge of the door and then turn your body away until you feel that stretch into the chest. On the floor though, it's called the scorpion, one of my favorite stretches. You bring your arm into that cactus position, elbows slightly higher from your shoulder, and then lift your opposite leg and bring it behind. You can rest your head down if that feels okay. Your leg might not get all the way to the floor behind, and that's okay too. You just want to feel the stretch in your chest. And the other side. Can't get quite as deep on this side. Awesome. Wow, thank you so much for joining me today. Take a moment to feel incredible gratitude for your body and what you just achieved. And I am grateful for you for joining me today. Namaste.